Hey, party people! Welcome once again to almost the Party of One podcast. My name is Jess Levine, creator of the Party of One featured game Going Rogue, a sister game of Galactic by Riley Rethel. Today, I'm bringing you the second episode of the official Galactic actual play for the combined Galactic and Going Rogue crowdfunder, an actual play you can find only on Party of One. This AP is facilitated by Jeff himself, guest edited by Seda, and stars an amazing 5-person cast who will introduce themselves shortly. The Galactic and Going Rogue Kickstarter can be found at bit.ly/galacticgoingrogue or the Kickstarter link in the show notes, and runs from Tuesday, May 20th through to the end of June. Stick around till the end to hear about how you can get a free PDF copy of Galactic 2E, the previously released edition of the game you're about to hear. With that, let's get into the episode, in which our party take the characters and world they built last time and tell such a fun story with an enthusiasm that's absolutely infectious. Take it fast, Jeff.
Thanks, Future Jess. So, we are back, and now we're going to sit down with the characters and world that we built last episode to play Galactic, a game of belonging outside belonging about rebellion and relationships in space. Before we do that, let's get a quick round of introductions of our players today. My name is Jeff Stormer. I am a podcaster, game designer, maker of things. My pronouns are he and his. And yeah, that's about me. I'm going to throw it over to Dusty.
Hi, I'm Dusty. I use they, he pronouns. I am an AP producer and performer, as well as a game designer.
Let's throw it over to Nala.
Hey everyone, my name is Nala or Jay, my pronouns are they, them, and I am an art director, illustrator, and general creator of many things in the TTRPG space, and I am everywhere at Nala Draws.
We will throw it over to Catrina.
Hi everybody, I'm Catrina. My pronouns are she and they. I'm a writer, producer, podcaster, performer, and many other things, and I'm very happy to be here today.
We will throw it over to Iffy.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Nwadiwe. I am the host of Actually over on Dropout, and I do a bunch of nerdy things online. Pronouns he, him. Let's get it in.
Let's get it in. Let us introduce the world that we created last session. The galaxy is vast, and its perspectives are countless, but it is unified by the space between. It pulls us towards one another, and unifies us in a sense of solidarity and unity with those that came before, in a pursuit of the discovery of a revelation. For many years, however, the space between was the domain of the Mandate, infinite in scope and its capacity for cruelty, and with a hunger for uniformity. The Mandate hammered by violence and trauma the space between into a cookie-cutter mold that left countless bodies on the margins. The Mandate believes that this is the only way of things. They fight to restore its place, to restore an old order of things. But the Mandate's grasp cannot last. In an explosion of culture and possibility, the Liberation was born, fighting to work together and imagine a better world. It has brought the galaxy to the cusp of a new creation. A new galaxy yearns to be born, and these are the hands that will build it together. But with a culture of cooperation comes the unfortunate inevitability of exploitation, and a new generation of capitalists quickly rose to offer a poisoned apple to an outstretched hand. This class of scum and villainy fills in the margins of the galaxy, offering uncomfortable bargains in exchange for enough credits to last the week. That is the world that we are going to be playing in. That is the space that we are going to be battling to create a new world within. And so now that we've got the world mapped out, let's meet the characters that we are embodying. I will throw it to Iffy. Iffy, introduce us to our ace.
All right. The ace in this story is Chike Ngomi, who has a cocky smirk, kind eyes, and neon coveralls, a leather jacket, and an old blaster. And that blaster is kind of signifying something that he carries on his chest, which is his father's history that he thinks makes him great. He longs for adventure. His mother doesn't want him to lead this life of liberation, wants to play it safe. One generation has already done it. Why should this one? Two skills that Chike has is fixing ships and pushing people's buttons. He's a smart mouth. He knows what to say to get under people's skin, and his relationship is his learned commander, who he sees as a mentor. Bruce Parley from the Liberation worked with his father, and because of that, he is just looking to hear, "Oh, you're just like your dad." He'll never admit that, but that's what he really wants, is to be just like his father.
Katrina, introduce us to our Nova.
Our Nova is named Eerie Orlan. Her pronouns are she and they. She has an angular face and curious eyes. She wields an astral blade that she forged herself when she first was chosen by her coven to become part of the Nova. She wears all black everything and leather belts, and she has a keen connection to their heritage. They're searching for a sense of belonging and their destiny, and their one big close relationship is with the matriarch of their coven, a wise mentor with unconventional methods known as Madre Cantara.
Next up is our defector. That's me, Bruno Galacera. Bruno Galacera is not a fighter. He is a plumber. He doesn't know guns. He knows pipes and tubes and wrenches and hammers. But the unfortunate reality is that work too gets sucked into the mandate, and he saw himself become part of the construction of a terrible atrocity that prompted him to leave that life behind. He does not know how to be part of the liberation, but he's trying. He wants to be devoted to the liberation because perhaps then on the other side, there might be something better. My relationship is the man that I have fallen in love with, the face that Bruno sees when he pictures the liberation. Laszlo Henried, the zealous liberation diplomat fighter that has sort of like almost reluctantly taken Bruno under his guidance. It was sort of a love at first hearing, the first sort of fiery polemic, and that is one of the things that makes Bruno want to be part of the liberation. And we will move on to our scoundrel. Jay, introduce us to our scoundrel.
Hello, so I am playing Lexicon, who is a sentient AI droid. Its name is spelt L3XIIIC0N, but is pronounced Lexicon, or Lexi for short if you know it well or have a relationship with it. Its pronouns are it, its, and visually it looks like Eve from WALL-E, but larger. The most important thing to know, it's got guns for arms. And Lexi has a favor owed from someone powerful, and of course, aforementioned guns for arms, and I have lost a sense of belonging and the ability to relax. Primarily, Lexicon is an info broker, so it deals in secrets. So in order to get information from it, you need to provide information of equal value. It also does assassinations, but that's, on the DL. My relationships include the gossipy bartender at my favorite joint, whose name is Ishani Ven, and the joint I named the Dead Comet, a little dive bar. And my other relationship is an analytical droid that I hacked for a job. And the droid that I hacked's name is TESS, which stands for Time Efficiency Scheduling System. It is a mandate droid whose job is to schedule the shift changes for the mandate soldiers. And I have hacked it, now have a lot of really juicy information that could provide useful. Who knows? But that's Lexicon.
And now let's throw it over to Dusty to introduce our mechanic.
Our mechanic is going to be Zar Ita, who uses they, them pronouns. They are someone with earnest eyes and careful hands, which betrays all the giant tools that they use. They always have the right tool on them. They're always fidgeting with something. And though their eyes are earnest, sometimes they are staring too far into the space. Maybe the space between. Who could say? But you do know that they have a repurposed uniform that looks like something a Nova would wear once upon a time, maybe a long time ago. And they always have like messy, tied up hair. Their relationship, to go with their memories of loss, because they don't have that much relationships right now, is their ship, an old mandate ship, a learned AI that they have called Spark, who runs the ship and also talks to them throughout the ship with a bountiful mechanical arms that talk to them like sock puppets.
Fantastic. All right, so we've met our characters. So now we're going to start to get into the action and start to figure out what has happened recently and what the, drama threads that are dangling in front of us are starting to look like. We're going to ask a series of questions. We're going to ask one to our player to our left and one to our player to our right. I will begin here and ask Catrina, what has Bruno done recently that made Eerie feel like you could trust me?
Oh, I would say, Bruno recently helped Eerie out of a pretty tough situation where, the skills that they have inherently because of the space between did not measure up. But Bruno's knowledge of, I would say, the operations of things, like the logistics of things, his handiwork, really got them out of a tough situation. So maybe they were stuck somewhere with Bruno. Maybe they were in a trash compactor of some sort, and Bruno was able to use his technical knowledge to really get them out. And Eerie really respects that about him.
I kind of love the idea that it truly is just knowing that there's a kill switch somewhere, right?
Yes.
it's just like, yeah, I know this model. You just pull this lever. What was it hard? And just that immediately, God, I immediately feel like not only do I know Bruno, but I've for sure had holiday meals with Bruno. Great. So I've asked my question to Catrina, and I'm also going to ask a question to Dusty. So for my mechanic, why do I trust you more than anyone else here?
I think you trust me because I'm the only one that will fix stuff for you and also tell you when I can't actually fix something for you.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I think as someone like you take it and then you've been to some place and said, yeah, I'll fix it. And then you've come to me 3 days later. And it's like, some guy said I'll fix it. I'm like, I can't do that for you, man. You see this? It's in 7 pieces.
There's a speaking of the same language, right?
Exactly.
It's that level of when two people really know the ins and outs of something that they can both kind of have an honesty of look, you know that this thing is broken. You know that this is not going to get fixed.
I know you
in 2
don't
days.
want it to be broken, however.
Yeah, that's okay, great. I immediately latch onto this relationship so thoroughly. Okay, great. So I've asked my 2 questions. I will throw this to Catrina. You're going to ask a question to your left and to your right.
So, Iffy, why have you worried about me recently?
I think it's because I know that, with the power that you hold as Nova, it puts you, in my eyes, in the most danger of being captured and abused for them trying to get your power. I think I witnessed a time that we were out just casually hanging out and kind of witnessing some of the mandates, goons try and capture you after figuring out that you can operate using the something between. And because of that, it was a day for me that I thought was just going to be a relaxing day, and kind of witnessing that led me know that I'm no longer able to relax, that days of leisure are behind me now that I'm part of the resistance.
That's great. Yeah, I think that would have given Eerie a lot more perspective too when it comes to how advanced the mandate has become, because Eerie's been out in the galaxy for a few decades now, and being unable to just wander with you and hang out really puts things into perspective, and it makes it so that she knows she has to be part of this now. She can't just be a bystander or be on the sidelines or help undercover,
Real quick, could I throw a moment into this mix that I think jumps out to me as real kind of clarifying character moment that I think I had some juicy drama? As I think there's a real powerful moment of because when I hear that, I think Bruno's reaction is almost anger at Chike for not believing that was always the threat, and I almost want to throw in that there has just that there was an argument that erupted between us as as the accusation of you weren't taking seriously every moment, you weren't looking over your shoulder, the mandate is always there. We cannot let our guard down for a moment just because you think that this is a vacation.
Yeah.
Just because I think there's a very good like antagonism there that I want to play up.
Oh yeah, and I feel like Chike is like, you look, you're just glazing your old boss. You think because you were a part of it, you thought you were a part of something great. Y'all aren't as we're not afraid of you. I grew up unafraid of you. You're not as a big deal as you think you are. Not knowing that it is shelter and privilege that is the reason I grew up unafraid.
That's so good. Yeah. And I think like Bruno foreshadowing one of my vulnerable moves here. Not necessarily hitting a token yet, but like sitting on the idea of like I think I blow off that interaction of like, you know what, you're still not taking it seriously. You still don't know what you're talking about. Like you're still playing in the fantasy of being a hero and just like has walked up, and maybe it's been a day or two since we have spoken or since we've like really crossed paths, and it's been like an aggressive like avoidance of each other.
Oh, I'll even one up it. I think the thing that I did that really escalated was like, you're just the garbage man, dude. You didn't do anything.
Yes.
You're not.
Yeah.
You don't. There's no way you would know. Like my dad was a hero, and you were the garbage man.
That's the walk away, the walk away is not even a walk away. It's a like I do not want to punch this child in the face.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm gonna stop that.
I think Eerie might have been like momentarily shaken and
Yeah.
then sort of spoken up as the subject of this the pin that started this fight, to try and calm people down and say like, we all have now learned a lesson today, and I think we should cool off and think about our perspectives and how they have changed, because she's not just talking about everyone, they're talking about themselves too.
Yeah, right. That's I just wanted to throw in that detail if you want to ask your second question.
So Bruno, what secret do you know about me?
What secret do I know about you? I want to say, and like this is a maybe we'll know the exact shape of it later. I want to say there is like a secret nature or effect or ability or nuance to your abilities that like either you could like, I even want to maybe build on this moment in the trash compactor of like we were on the run in a moment, or something had happened that like forced us into a trash compactor, and in that moment like either it came out in the chase or you confessed it in a moment of like, hey, I gotta tell somebody this when I think that it's over. You've confessed to me like a secret nature or ability or side effect or something relating to your abilities that was kind almost in the vein of a like, hey, I'm saying this once so that I can share it with somebody before we die. And then Bruno offhandedly pulls a lever and is like, no, I just had to pull a lever. Like, it was not that big of a deal. Like, I appreciate what you did, but it was not that big of a deal. Like, but also, I ain't a snitch, and I'm not going to say anything.
Nice. Yeah, I think I would say that nuance to Eerie's ability is that, I don't want to be cliche and say, oh, using it takes away from her lifespan, but maybe there's some kind of like penalty for using it in some way or another. Or
What
That's
if,
good.
What if using it makes you forget something?
I love that.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Ooh.
Yeah, it tears away at their memory if they use it.
That's real. That's good. Okay, yeah, that hits. So I know this, and just kind of like I just kind of like maybe there's that moment after we get out of the trash compactor of like, hey, can you not tell? I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't have a conversation.
Nice. Yeah.
What do you mean? It's nothing. I
Nothing.
heard nothing.
Conversation didn't happen.
I think it's because, especially because Eerie, from her culture, she was kind of seen as like a prodigy. There's one in every generation that like goes off and becomes a Nova, and so there's a lot for her to live up to. So having this like disability really in the space between is something that she feels like she's falling short of.
Yeah,
to
that's great.
her ancestors.
Ah, fantastic. We will throw it over. We'll move next down the line, which I believe is Iffy, you're gonna throw a question over to Catrina and to Dusty.
All right. So I guess my first question, I'll start with you, Catrina. Eerie, you started with me. I'll start with you. I've these questions synergize, so why not? How has our relationship changed recently?
I think that, especially after seeing what had happened with the mandate officers, we went from, professional acquaintances to, friends who actually protect each other, because I won't say it to your face, but I know that you're a little cocky, and I know that you love taking risks, and I am not much of a risk taker because of all the aforementioned reasons. And so I think that we look out for each other a lot. We're always
Nice.
watching each other's backs.
All right. And Dusty, I will ask do I impress or exhaust you?
That's so good.
Good question. Good question.
I want to say it's maybe a little bit of both. More impressed, some exhaust, simply because I'm impressed how far you're able to push your ship and how good you're able to fly it. I'm exhausted because I'm the only one that fixes it. Just look at you, it's like, why did you have to go through the asteroid? Like, I know you said it would be sick if you blew a hole through it, but now half of your engine's gone.
Yeah, I know no one was chasing us, but in the moment, if we were getting chased down, that would be the route to take. So if I practice now, we don't have to do it later. So yeah, we beat it up real bad, but this'll come in handy. I learned. I downloaded it when I hit those asteroids. I can't hit the same asteroid twice, trust me.
Great.
Mhm,
Next
mhm.
time, fix your own ship. Which is, I say that every time. I still fix their ship.
Sure. Love it. Great. Nala, you're going to ask a question to me and to Dusty.
I'd like to ask you, what did you know about me before we met? And I picked this because I like the idea of Lexicon having this reputation that precedes it. And you being part of the mandate formally, formerly, I think I wanted to ask you that.
I think it is fairly known, at least maybe not necessarily mandate wide, but certainly among the labor and quotation marks legitimate labor circles that Bruno runs in, that Lexicon it's the person you go to for favors, for like, it is a person that you can count on to get you what you need when you need it, but also you don't make that request lightly. I think that a couple of good friends of mine who are, of course, legitimate business people have struck up that bargain, and I have seen how it has gone for them. And so, like, I know that the moment that its name gets invoked, Lexicon is not someone to be taken lightly, and is not someone to flippantly ask for things. Like, I know that it has not worked out well when those deals have been made in the past.
Knowing you're a broker of secrets, I am going to. How do we want to do this? I want to ask the table. I have a secret that I have
Okay.
that I want to give about Chike's dad. Is this a
Okay.
secret that we want me to privately give to Lexicon, and at any moment you have that in your pocket story-wise, or is it a secret that everybody wants to know right now?
I personally, I mean, I always default to, I think it's really fun if we all know it and then can kind of like put, especially as we're all GMing, we can position situations where
That's very true. That's
that
what made
secret
me
is going to get
shift it.
put the pressure on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think above table we all know, but in
Yeah.
character,
Yeah,
In
in
character, it
character,
is-
it
you
is a secret.
so in the character, Lexicon's the only one who knows this. But Chike's dad was not a liberation fighter, but instead was a smuggler. And he was a great pilot. He was amazing. But that's why him and his mom never stayed together, because he was fashioning himself as a hero. And I will say, with that information, just to have it all kind of flow together, Bruce Parley is with the liberation, but also, because it's a resistance force, they, need to go through back channels to get supplies and things. And so Bruce is kind of forced with this lie that only him and Lexi knows, which is that his dad was just a smuggler who was like dirty, that wasn't known, slept around, there's like, and it is just the classic version of a child having all the good things of their parent that they remember, but didn't investigate all the like dark sides of the home, the arguments and like all the things that him and his mom had gotten into before they divorced.
That's incredible. That's so good.
Good shit.
All right, Jay, second question.
My second question to you, Dusty, for Czar. What did I do to make you wrongly believe I don't care about you?
Oh.
It doesn't.
Especially like as the information broker and the chismoso. I think what you did is I thought one night that we were just talking and I told you some stuff in what I thought was confidence, but I was reading the wrong messages because you are a droid. And so what I thought were tells like, yeah, I'll totally keep it secret, is that you were actually sent to get information for me. No, information from me.
From you,
for
yeah.
someone else.
Who do you think I told that to? Or who do you think I was gaining or gathering that info for?
What about a cool bounty hunter that is doing jobs for the Mandate? Because you heard somewhere down the grapevine that I used to know a Nova. And you're trying to get information on what do I know about Novas, and also how did I get my ship.
So yeah, that was actually going to be my second question, is what did you tell me?
I told you that I used to know a Nova a long time ago, and I wish I still knew them, but I can't anymore. And I got my ship. I think I was talking to you. I got my ship and I look around really, like, obviously make sure I think no one else is listening. The people inside were, scare quotes, dead. And I borrowed it for 20 years.
Can I invoke a gameplay mechanic here for a moment? Because you've done a thing that I've got so excited to play with one of the toys in our toy box. Can we create this bounty hunter here at the table in real time? Because making NPCs in Galactic is a wonderful process, and what we're going to do is like give them a name, pronouns, some immediate description, maybe a hook or two of how they key into it, which I kind of have a pitch on if I can throw it to the table. And then we have our traits table to pull 2 traits for their personality, which will give them some moves that they can use to impact the story if they come back into play.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any immediate visual details or personality details or things you want to throw in about this bounty hunter? Because I have a thought that I can pitch if you'd like to hear it.
My brain is going to how I envision most bounty hunters in Star Wars is like Sick Helmet.
Sick Helmet's great. Sick Helmet's good.
Yeah, Sick Helmet. But that's all I had.
So this ties into like a theme that I've been kind of picking up on in a lot of our questions and descriptions, which is that like it feels like there is a tension that is like tight quarters. It feels like we're watching Chike and Czar like butt heads over ship maneuvers, and Eerie and Chike are sneaking away for moments of relaxation and then coming back and we're butting heads together. Like it feels like we are like in a safe house, for lack of a better way to put it. Like it feels like we are like laying low in a space, and it feels very natural. And maybe I'll throw this to Jay with a follow-up question of, is Lexicon providing the safe house? Is it staying here with us? Like what's its relationship to the safe house? But like I think maybe I want to pitch that this bounty hunter like is tailing us to this location and has received this info of like where we are specifically. How do we all feel about that? What's the vibe?
I think that's good.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have a thought going off of that. So you said this bounty hunter is Mandate, correct?
It feels like a natural fit.
Because one of my relationships is that I recently hacked a Mandate droid, so maybe this bounty hunter is trying to get that information or that code specifically from me. Because I think it's interesting if, like, theoretically, I could delete some data in exchange for something better. And that could be a reason why the bounty hunter is tailing us.
I really like that. That's juicy. Okay, so we've got like a hook. We've got a little bit sick helmet.
Sick helmet.
Let's pick 2. We've got our list of traits. Let's pick 2 traits to kind of give this bounty hunter some flavor.
Why don't we roll a d6 and then roll a d6 again, maybe?
Yes.
That sounds great.
All right.
Dusty, why don't you roll the first one?
Sure. I'll use my Sailor Moon D6.
Yes.
By the power of the moon, I'll make an asshole. I rolled a 6.
Amazing. Katrina, do you want to roll a second one?
I rolled a 3.
So we have an innocent. Oh, that's interesting.
Very,
Why?
very interesting.
Why
for a
does our
bounty hunter.
mandate bounty hunter believe that they're innocent? That's interesting, actually.
I think the mandate, it uses propaganda, and maybe the bounty hunter was born into, like, a culture or a house or something that, like, fully believes in that propaganda.
That's great. Yeah.
So they themselves believe themselves to be innocent.
I really like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, because they're a bounty hunter to everyone else. But as far as they're concerned, they're doing the right thing.
They're doing the right thing, and they're getting paid for it.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
I'd love to suggest that we have that bounty hunter. One of their moves is asking someone a question.
I was thinking
that
the
they-
exact same thing.
Yeah.
'Cause the vibe that move gives me, the vibe of ask a question that they'd rather not answer, the vibe that gives me is almost like a Columbo, of like an evil Columbo, of like
One
a
more.
smiling, like a smiling, friendly bounty hunter that's like, oh, by the way, do you know where that safe house is? Like, and it's that sense of like, are they trying to smoke me out? Like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
Should we roll one more trait?
Yeah,
Or just
yeah.
stick with the one?
Let's do one more, Jay. Why don't you roll us a d6, and then Iffy, you can roll us a second one.
All right.
Let's
Sounds
do it.
good. I rolled a 4, so we're gonna be pulling from the authoritative traits list.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I rolled a 2.
2.
Ooh,
That
that's a good
is
combination.
A daring. So we have innocent and daring.
Oh,
This is perfect for Space Columbo.
And it feels it ties in very nicely to feels like they're the hero, right? Like, it's that
Mhm.
sense of like, sure, I'm doing the big daring things because I'm a big daring hero. Like, that's what I've been told that I am, and I believe the story that I've been fed.
I don't know if you all watch the what was it, Dragon Ball, not Daima, but the one right before it, but there's like a space that space cop that shows up.
You talking about Jacko?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This character reminds me
Mhm, good old
so
Jacko.
much of
So from both innocent and daring, we choose 1 to 2 moves. So in daring, our options are propose an exciting and overcomplicated idea, and they gain a token. They can invite someone to do something dangerous, give them a token if they say yes, or get in over your head and ask for backup or rescue, and give those who answer a token.
Proposing an exciting and complicated idea feels very like naive is the best word for it, which is
Yeah.
like feels in line with
Yeah.
innocent, feels in line with like is doing the things that they believe and like doesn't quite grasp the intricacies of it. So that's the one I want to throw out as a proposal.
I'll second that. That sounds great.
Yes.
I love this bounty hunter.
Bounty Hunter's
I-
great.
This bounty hunter is just going to be the main character now.
I really like also get in over your head and ask for backup.
We can we can pick two, so
We can
let's do
pick
do
two.
both.
Yeah, because I think those two working together as like they're a bounty hunter, but like clearly they're not. They think they're still doing good, so yeah, they'll ask for help.
And I think that
Um,
goes into innocent really nicely.
It does. So we've met our bounty hunter, we've met our character, we've fleshed out this thing. Dusty, I'm gonna throw it to you for your
Do
two
we have
questions.
really quickly? Do we have a name for the bounty hunter?
We don't have a name.
I offer because I just looking at things on my desk. Fern Shot.
Fern Shot is very good.
Mm.
Oh, but spelt
Yes.
FERNE.
FEE.
With and then two A's on shot.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice.
Going to my questions, I'm going to be asking Iffy and Jay.
Mhm.
Jay, I'm going to start with you because I have a question for you. Does Lexicon ever get called L313?
No. I think if someone were to try that, it would just be like it would make like error sound like and then it would just be like that is not correct.
Okay, that may go into my
Does not
question
compute. Does not compute. No.
Then let's go to this one because I already know what I fixed for Chike's character. So, what broken thing, Lexicon Jay, did you ask me to fix recently?
Ooh. Trying to tie it into my stuff here as well. So, if I recently hacked this droid, maybe. You know what? Maybe you fixed my gun arm, or one of my gun arms. I think that just makes sense.
Could I offer that your gun arm maybe it got stuck because like it misfired or something because you had to shoot someone like a dog in the street? And I offered like, what if I also make the blasters? You have now adjustable blasters, so you have a hand. So now you have 5 blasters on one hand.
Oh. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I like the idea of you adding modifications to improve the design. I think that's super cool, and I dig that a lot.
Yeah. Let's say that was before you sold me out to Fern.
Yeah, of course. But also,
it was
Fern's coming
after.
after me too, so we're kind of in this weird like who's eating who situation here.
Beautiful, great.
Just hear
I gave you
yakety
more
sax
guns.
as we're all just running around chasing each other.
All right, and then Ivi/Chike, what did I lend to you recently?
Ooh, what did you? I imagine you lent like a multi-tool to me to use when I was, I think knowing the recent tension in the group and knowing that I did kind of go too far, I'm like young and cocky enough to where I'm not going to apologize to Bruno, but I'm trying to like smooth it over with everyone. I don't want everyone thinking I'm an asshole. So I very much have been very helpful in ways that maybe I haven't been helpful. I've been, very assisting. And I think one of the times I was like, hey, I banged up the ship. I'll handle repairs this time around. And you were like, well, you're going to need this. And I've been hanging on to that multi-tool from that time.
Yeah, and this is like to go and kind of like how I'm pitching Zara is that it's like an older multi-tool that has like tools that just like they don't make anymore. There's like stuff to help fix diagnostic issues that they've separated and put into a whole different tool to make more credits, money, spreadits, space credits. I don't know.
Spreadits.
Spreadits. I said that a lot.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess that's what we called it.
And so like it's like an older model, and I think I've just like let you hold on to it. I haven't asked for it back in like X amount of time.
Yeah, and I'd say this is like my new hyperfixation is I'm tinkering with it. I'm like using it. There's things little projects that I'm just kind of in my little workstation messing around with that I've been unable to do because it's been these like hard to find tools.
Fidget toy too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. Gosh, you're fidgeting with it. Suddenly the Bunsen burner goes off.
Yes.
Fantastic. Those are all of our questions, which means that we've got our characters, we've got our relationships, we've got our details, we know what's been happening, what's been going on around us. And so now we kind of get into our scenes. So the way that this is going to work on a mechanical basis is really like we're going to set up scenes, we're going to describe actions, we're going to, say what's going on, we're going to jump from moment to moment a little bit, we're going to kind of idly dream until we see the scene and the set pieces that we really want to watch play out. So on each of our playbooks, we have strong moves that require us to spend a token. We have lateral moves that will prompt us to give a token to another player or pillar. And then we have vulnerable moves that allow us to gain a token. We can also at any time invoke pillar moves or our NPC moves as we make NPCs, but really what we're doing is just deciding what our set pieces are and then playing out those scenes. So I'll throw this to everybody. Does anybody, what do we want? What is, I think that we've seen some, simmering developments. Here's what I want to propose to everybody, right? 2 options for everybody to chew on. Do we want this to be something where a little more reactive, where we're in this place and then the mandate makes a big move and we react to that? Or while we are in this place, are we presented an opportunity to go after something of the mandates? And it's sort of like a ticking clock desperate move, we got to go now and it's got to just be us. which of those feels more compelling, and what details start to come to mind with everything that we've been seeing play out?
I think opportunity very quickly slipping away fits very well with our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see us taking a break somewhere and then seeing that opportunity and having to, like, do that trope of like, leaving the restaurant even though your food hasn't showed up. Like, that trope that happens.
I kind of think maybe to really, like, throw us into the moment, latching onto the moments immediately after the fight with Chike and Bruno, where we are all kind of scattered in this tight corner space. We've had these, we've had this bounty hunter sort of like nipping at our heels a little bit, and then suddenly now we're gonna really see, like, action kick into gear. And to really kind of, like, amplify that, we've got our 4 pillars, and I think it makes sense for each of us to grab, or for 4 of us to grab one of those pillars, to kind of keep an eye on that, look for the moves that pillar really wants to make.
Ooh.
I think it's worth noting that, like, because so much of the moves are kind of, like, often going to be a little bit antagonistic, it makes sense for each of us to grab a pillar that's not necessarily, like, the thing that we're sort of deeply entwined with, but almost the thing that we most don't want to be deeply entwined with, so that we can kind of say, like, aha, and I'm throwing a wrench in at this moment, so that, another player can throw the space between you, Eerie, to really kind of get you entangled with that.
You know what I think is interesting? Because Lexicon is definitely part of Scum and Villainy, so I shouldn't have that one. And I think the thing that I'm farthest from is the space between, so I think it might make most sense for that one to be the one.
That feels really good. That feels really good.
I think I will hold the Scum and Villainy specifically because of the poetry in that, but also because I don't think Chike is going to be interacting with it.
And I think that also really is going to, like, allow you to, now that we've got the secret with your dad, like, really allow you to kind of, like, put echoes of that and really kind of lean into the mirror, the images of that are going to kind of force us towards that secret.
Yeah, so I think then, Catrina, do you want to hold the mandate?
I definitely think that works for what I'm going for.
And then I'll take the liberation, especially having a mandate ship.
That feels perfect. Okay, so we've got our pillars in hand. We've got everybody, like, locked in. We've got this moment. Looking at those pillars, does somebody feel like a strong pull towards, and maybe most directly looking at Catrina, of, like, is there a mandate move that feels good here, or maybe do we want to look at the other pillars as well?
Maybe putting someone in immediate danger. So would that apply just to the characters, or would it be maybe someone that we need to rescue, or and are the only ones in proximity for?
Maybe the middle ground there is, like, if it's tied to one of our relationships, or it's tied to a place that is tied to a character, because we're going to want to give one of our players a token. So, like, I think as long as there's a pull towards one of us, where one of us grabs
I have an
that
idea.
token. Joe,
I have an idea based off of that. So I think we can combine moves. I think that's something we can do in this game. So if you make the move of put someone in immediate danger and give them a token, I could make a vulnerable move and walk into a situation unprepared, because if we're all stuck in this little hidey hole together and y'all just had a fight, I can see Lexicon being like, I'm going outside, and then, like, I get captured or something. Like,
that's great. Yeah. All right, good. So you're going to take 2 tokens for that, because you've activated a vulnerable move and had a pillar move played. So maybe what pops out to me is, like, Chike, we've had this fight. We are not crossing paths. And then there's, I think, the realization across the entire space of, hey, has anybody seen Lexicon?
No.
Left while you guys were busy, and then, Eerie kind of, like, waves their hands around a little bit. The last I saw of it, it was floating out of that doorway. Maybe to get some air?
Air? Okay. What exactly is the scene like? Is there, like, a ship descending, or do we see you being approached?
I think you hear gunfire.
Specifically, like, there's the sounds of gunfire, And like the thing that we see before that is we see Lexicon go outside, and waiting there is Fern with like a starship overhead and like a squadron of soldiers. Like Fern has pitched this as like, we have got like, this is an elaborate plan that has been pitched to deploy on this safe house, and we are gonna have to kind of like rescue Lexicon, fight our way out of here, maybe take down this ship in the process. Like, there's a lot like that feels, how does that feel to everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I definitely I was in that line of thinking where it was like, Fern's gonna blow up our spot like any minute now. So I think that's great.
I think when Czar is running out and the doors open again, we all hear the gunshots at the same time. Yeah. And I just start running faster. Lex, what are you doing?
I think the bounty hunters probably had some kind of technology. I'm picturing like a net, like an old school, like one of those like bug catching nets.
Yeah, that's great. I was gonna say like a laser net that has maybe surrounded, like kind of through a net surrounding you.
And I think my gun arms come out, and instead of like shooting, I think I send like a EMP through this net to disable it, and I start spinning rapidly to try to throw it off of me, and Lexicon will whirl on Fern, and I'll cock my gun arm, and I will say, "Hello, Fern. What is the meaning of this?"
Oh, who wants to play Fern?
I've got it. Well, I've got a token from Fern, and I think let me look at a move that I think Fern is gonna drop here. Yeah, okay. A question that you'd rather not answer in this moment. Fern looks honestly kind of disappointed in this moment. Like, gun drawn, like blaster pointed in your direction. Fern looks confused. It's like, you weren't prepared for this? You didn't have like a master plan? Like, I thought we were doing a chess game.
Oh. You underestimate me. I always have plans.
I'm going to give you, so I'm going to hand you this token as you have told the truth to this question of cuz I think Fern thought that the question like exposing you as unprepared, but the truth that you have been prepared gives you that token. And I might, as Bruno, grab a token here because I think there's a vulnerable moment that I want to have with Chike as we're running out, because I don't think Bruno runs out with everybody else. I think that he does grab Chike by the shoulder for a moment and just asks, "What do you want me to be? Like, what do I do here?"
What do you do here is we save our friends. And I'm going to make a rash maneuver that puts me or others in danger. And even though right now it seems like they're talking it out, I'm going to push Bruno off me and say, "You be a hero. You protect your friends like this." And I rush towards and try and tackle Fern. Like this, calling your shots always does well.
Oh, that's really good.
I think in turn, could I invoke another mandate move?
Yeah.
I think tackling them knocks off their helmet, and I want to foreshadow a larger threat. And as you see this helmet get knocked off, you see their face, and we all recognize them as a high general of the mandate that uses this bounty hunter as a guise.
That's real good.
And you look at their hand, and you see a big red glowing button that is sending out a distress signal.
Oh, I'm gonna, I got a strong move here. I'm spending this token, and I am going to reveal a previously unknown mandate vulnerability. Like, I think there's a moment of, brushed off Bruno, kind of, hurt, angry. He's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not a soldier. I'm a garbage man, but I'm the garbage man that knows all of the, and, walks over and, pushes 3 buttons. And I think one of these small ships, I want to activate the emergency detonation, remotely activate the emergency detonation code on one of the ships that is overhead by just virtue of being Yeah, it's all common. It's all common code. You call in, you say a 4-word phrase. They give you the sign-off code. It's pretty standard protocol stuff.
We get that shot and we cut back, and then Fern just sees the ship exploding and then looks very concerned. It's like, you fools, you'll kill us all if you blow up that ship.
Why? What's on there?
And now they suddenly look like, I've said too much too quickly.
How far is Chike from everyone now that I'm kind of wrapped up in bounty hunter or like?
So that's a great question. And really, like, what to think about here is that, like, because you used a vulnerable move, you got that token, like, this is the chance, this is our time, like, as a table for all 5 of us to be like, how do we fuck up your character? Like, how do we make things bad for you? Because then when you spend that token, it's going to be our opportunity as a table to say, what's your big hero moment? So, like, I throw this to the group and say, like, where is Chike and why is it a capital P problem for us?
I was thinking, in response to both Lexicon asking why is that, and Chike probably still holding Fern down, is that Fern has grabbed an old blaster off of Chike's belt and has now put it under Chike's chin and say, you don't need to worry about that, just let me go.
I think it's just like,
Is this an opportunity to introduce another threat or another NPC or another presence that really makes things worse for us? That, like, that's Fern's countermeasure.
I mean, we do have that giant mandate ship floating overhead. Like, that's Fern's backup. I think we should. Maybe there's more to learn about that. Maybe there's something we should do about that next.
Can I play another toy in the toy box? And this is something that I've been thinking about and looking at on my playbook for a while. Can we build a location on this starship that also forebodes a massive threat? Because I've been thinking about the fact that Bruno was tapped to build an atrocity. And I'm looking at these locations, and one of them is laboratory, and the idea that there is some kind of laboratory on this ship that houses some kind of either super soldier or genetic weapon or giant killer robot or something that is about to touch down and that we are going to have to deal with feels juicy to me.
oh
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a list here of aesthetic elements. What aesthetic elements feel good as the camera zooms around this laboratory that is about to unleash something?
I really like the exhausted and overworked scientists.
I do really like that.
Maybe air of importance. I think that plays off of the mandate's supremacy ideals of wanting hegemony. Everyone to be the same.
Yeah. I think those are good. I just like note-covered whiteboards as well.
Yeah, this feels great. Because, like, what those things can, overworked scientists, an air of importance, like whiteboards, what that says to me, like, truly the visual that I get from that is the fucking Manhattan Project. Like, that is, like, this is fucking there is Star Wars Oppenheimer is standing there and is about to, like, flip a switch and open a door, and something is gonna, like, touch down, like, some kind of big bad boss is about to touch down.
I have an idea. Based off of, so the second pick list is choose 1 to 2 rumored to be here, and one of the options is a terrifying and deadly discovery. And so, as we previously established, using the space between comes at a cost. So what if they're researching a way to make using the space between a higher cost for someone? Like, they can target someone with it, and, like, they can target their enemies, like enemy novas, and basically the cost becomes higher for them, and maybe that's what they're researching.
Oh, yeah.
That's really great. Oh, that's juicy.
Because if you stretch this, right, like we left it very vague of, like, the cost is forgetting something. And yes, that's memories, but eventually, once you run out of stuff to forget, what's that? You forget how to breathe. You forget basic things that you need to live. Like, it can get pretty dark and pretty deadly, so...
Can I ask two things? Dusty, can I grab the liberation from you so that I can look at these moves real quick? Because like
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're all wishy-washy here.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask also if somebody would like to play Laszlo Henreid, zealous diplomat who has just received a command from Liberation higher ups.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Great.
Yes.
Because I think like we see this laboratory, right? We see this laboratory. There's this engine that can amplify the costs of the space between. There is this like space between murder engine that is being activated, and word has just come down. And like the gun is under Chike's throat. Meanwhile, inside we're getting the rundown on what this thing is, and like we see Henreid run down with a set of papers and is looking for anybody. And I think that the only person in the building is my ass.
Laszlo runs out with all of these papers, which is something that you don't really see a lot in the galaxy. Yeah. Like, we use a lot of tablets and stuff, but these papers are very vital to the way the Liberation works, because they actually create a trail of, what we're working with. So Laszlo is
papers cannot be hacked.
Exactly. So Laszlo is grasping these papers, and they're printouts that are folded over each other and kind of like trailing behind him, and he goes, "Hold on, we shouldn't make any big move." Oh, Bruno.
What's up, Blue Eyes?
And he like hurries over. We should hold on to whatever we're doing right now, because what's on that ship could destroy a lot of people very, very quickly. And he kind of just like throws his arms out and shows you these papers and reads off all of this data to you very, very quickly. And essentially like explains to you that like there's a machine on there that could result in incredible consequences for anyone who is tapped into the space between, not just Novas, anyone who can, work with that cosmic force. It could be life-ending. And so he's going to go ahead and state his beliefs on what the right thing to do is. And he says, I genuinely believe that if we move too quickly here, and I know this goes against everything I stand for, because you know me and I love moving quickly, we need to hold back and think about this, because we could cost a lot of lives if we don't step carefully on this.
Oh no. Oh
Tread
no.
carefully, Bruno.
I'm taking a token. I am taking a token and revealing a harmful belief that I have not yet unlearned, because I'm looking into the eyes of the man that I love, and I am just like, so we kill him. We blow up the ship, we kill everybody on board, no survivors, we take out the engine, we take out everybody that put their fingers on the thing, and we let them rip.
So I just said that we should hold on. And Laszlo kind of runs over the data again.
And I think you're wrong. I think that I know that you believe what you believe, but damn it if I don't know the people that are on that ship better than I know members of my own family. And I know how eager I would be to pull the trigger on that thing if I was on that ship, and I don't think that there's a stopping that person. I don't think that there's a redemption arc for the person whose finger is on that trigger, and I think that they gotta go.
I want to make a move.
Yeah.
As the space between.
Do it.
One
yes.
of the space between moves is create an unexpected connection between people and give them a token. So I would love for Laszlo and Bruno to have a unexpected connection, so both of you can take a token.
Right. Yay. Good. Okay, that's 2 tokens. Like, what's the connection then? Yeah, like what's the moment between these two?
So I think as the space between ebbs and flows into your consciousness, I think the two of you sort of feel, actually, you know what it is? I think all of a sudden you are seeing out of the other person's eyes, quite literally, and then it like flashes back to your being, and everything feels the same as it was before, except you feel a presence. And as the two of you stare at each other, that presence starts thrumming, almost like a heartbeat, almost like an invisible string that connects the two of you together.
If we're going to blow this thing up without any hurting anybody, we're going to need a pilot.
Well, then I think we should go outside and save your pilot.
Flash outside. Let's go.
I think that then we see again, Zara's like, chill. Chike, let them go. Fern, don't you dare shoot. We're letting you go. Just get up slowly. And I want to look at Chike, and you're going to see eyes move towards your belt where that multi-tool is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that there's something that could put out a lot of volts of electricity on it.
Okay. So like I'm holding on, and I'm just kind of like, you watch Chike's hand kind of like try its best to subtly move around, his person, trying to latch on to something and find where that multi-tool is. And I'm gonna, this will be my strong move to get myself or someone out of harm's way. And I nod to you, and then I grab the multi-tool, and remembering the time that I shocked myself and was out for about 15 minutes, press a button on that multi-tool to shock now Fern as I move away from him.
And I think Lexicon catches Fern as Fern falls, and it starts humming like a lullaby, kind of sarcastically, and one of my gun hands just starts like stroking Fern's hair, and it says, "Well, Fern, there is so much more to you than I initially expected. You are not who you say you are." And then there's like a trilling noise, and Lexicon adds, "I will file this away for later."
At that moment, two things happen in rapid succession. Spending a token to triumph over someone or something which once oppressed you. Like a set of garage doors on the side of this like depot open up, and a crane arm, like a construction crane arm, loops around and smashes into the side of like one of these smaller ships that is floating overhead, and over a loudspeaker, we just hear, "Hey, they got a weapon up there that we need to take out quick. We need a pilot to get in there. You hear me? We need a pilot."
Chike, I think that's you.
Yeah, Chike in this moment, it kind of stands looking at Fern on the ground, looking towards Zar, and just kind of darting between everyone. And it's like, yeah, of course. Pilot. Yeah. And I guess when Bruno went up, did Chike see the way Bruno got up to the ship?
I think Bruno's on the ground, like piloting a crane, and there is like a moment where like leans away from like the big like microphone and just goes like, "You go be a hero. I'll be the construction worker."
And yeah, Chike runs up to the crane to be lifted up into the ship.
And I'm gonna throw you a token because I'm putting myself in danger to help you get into position, because now all eyes are on this crane. You get loaded into the ship. We've got Chike on the ship, and let me look. I think there's a mandate move that I want to make because I want to give somebody a token. I want to give Eerie a token. What do we think the weapon, like what do we think the sort of immediate aftershock of the weapon being activated looks like to somebody who is deeply in tune with the space between? What position does it put Eerie in?
I think Eerie might just like, the way I kind of see it is with the way Nala was describing it. There's some sort of debilitating aspect, so it removes the ability to remember how to move your body or how to breathe, etc. I like the idea of Eerie being geared up for battle and running after to try and cover Chike, and then immediately just hitting the ground just in sheer confusion, just being their bodily, like their muscular functions just stop.
That's so terrifying.
Yeah.
Take that token. You fucked up your character. Take the token. We've got Chike in the ship, blasting off towards this rocket. We've got this laboratory with like a big bad weapon on it. We've got Eerie on the ground, convulsing. We've got, crisis unfolding. The space between is looming. We're in our big closing sequence, right? This is our big climactic finish of the session, the episode, the issue. So I want to throw this to the group and say, like, are there any character beats you really want to hit as we head into this, like, final montage moment? This is also our chance to hit some, like, big moves and kind of, like, go out with a bang and sort of hit our big moves as we wrap things up. Is there anything that we really want to, like, make sure that we kind of, like, hit, see, allude to before we see this climax play out and then hit our cliffhanger ending?
I just want to see some sick ships. I was going to suggest that we all run to the Spark.
Sure. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because Chike has that sick ass, probably like a spy fighter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're picturing the Mandate ship that this lab is on is huge, right? Like, it's a big ship.
I'm picturing it that way because I got to see a Death Star run in my Star Wars. It's a thing that I love about it, and I gotta get a dogfight in here.
So, I had an idea. One of my moves. So I have 3 tokens to spend.
Yeah, spend them.
Can I combine 2 of these moves? Because one of
Totally.
mine says pull off an absurd stunt to take advantage of an unexpected opportunity. And then another one is know exactly where you're going when others are lost. And
Yeah.
so my idea of a little scene that Lexicon can have is that we have Fern pinned down, and it was previously established that Fern is actually some big general.
Yep.
And we also already know that Lexicon was being hunted by Fern because Lexicon had hacked into a mandate droid called Tess, the scheduling software, essentially. And so I'm picturing this moment where, like, the rest of you maybe have gone on that ship, the spy fighter, or maybe not all of you, but at least the group has split off. And I'm seeing this moment where Lexicon is alone with Fern once again.
Sure.
And the 2 of us are kind of at a standstill. And I can see Lexicon using this move to essentially try to get information on how we can get your spy fighter to the right spot to be able to take down the thing. And so I see it as like, and you guys can correct me if this is not the right read for your characters, but like a shared look, a couple of nods, just like unspoken communication. It feels very Star Wars to me.
It feels very like we've been butting heads so much, and now we're a unit.
Yeah, like we have to like pedal to the metal where it matters kind of moment. But like the shared look, people peel off, and then I can see Lexicon turning to Fern and saying, "Fern, or whoever you are, I know you have been tracking me for, well, the information that I have. And what I have learned is that the mandate, it is a machine. But now I know where the gears grind against one another. I know your secrets, and you will not pry them out of me. But perhaps I can, well, forget, in exchange for one more piece of information."
Fern like rears back, like, always happy to make a deal.
See, that's the Fern I know. And I think the scene fades out there. And smash cut to an incoming message coming into your
I want to smash cut to
dashboard.
I want to smash cut to the spy fighter and the Spark, like, side by side racing towards. What does this like dual ship chase look like as we race towards the ship? And then I have a moment that I want to set up with Eerie specifically.
Yeah, I think Zara has like gotten anyone that didn't get into the ship into the Spark. The Spark, I'm imagining it's like it's an old mandate ship, so it's like a big triangle, a little bit bigger. Like it can hold some other ships on it. I'm sure Chike's like own ship is actually probably on here already, and they're going through. They're not as agile, but they are fast and they have momentum. And they're catching up to Chike as they're going through the ship. And as we're going up, I would like to use a vulnerable move and just say, as we're getting closer, I'm looking at all the diagnostics. I have no idea what's powering their shield right now. Which is saying, admit you don't understand something.
Yeah.
Vulnerable move again,
Nice.
Yeah.
as we're getting closer, and it's like, This is not anything I've seen. I think a hand comes out from the wall and it sparked themselves. It's like, nope, this is nothing you have seen before. Neither have I.
Can I ramp that up even further and make a pillar move here from the
Yes.
mandate and like really like leaning into putting into foreshadowing a threat, I think, is the play here of this is not just poisoning users of the space between. This is sapping them and exploiting their power.
Ooh.
And so, like, we see Eerie collapse, and then we see computer screens on this lab, and bars go up, and a bubble shield emerges. That's what Chike is up against. That's what is happening here. Chike, like, that's the shield that you're up against. What moves are you making in this moment?
So in this moment, kind of seeing those shields go up, I try and hop on the comms, right? And I connect with Bruno, and I go, look, I was being kind of mean, and you know this ship. This is what you know. I can't be a hero without you. What should I be attacking? Because I don't think I can shoot that bubble till it pops.
And I think like we see maybe a little like camera of the bubble, like we see a little hologram of it pop up in the crane specifically, because this is going to set up a move that I want to make. I'm spending a token for a strong move here. I don't know why I know this, but I know exactly what that is. Flyboy, can you stay alive for like 30 seconds?
I can. Yeah, actually I can.
All right. And I am spending a token to quickly pick up a new skill, and that skill is channeling the space between that I've had with this moment as I like run, laser blasts obliterate the crane. Bruno is off running, sliding knees first next to Eerie, and just settles in like, Eerie, I need you to remember the water around your waist and the flashing red light, the grinding of gears. I need you to be in that trash compactor, and I need you to reach out your hand, and I need you to pull the lever, and I need you to come back to us. I need you to feel that water drain down to your knees and drain down to your ankles. We're there together. We're in this moment. You are not in that bubble shield. Your spirit is not in that machine. Your body, your spirit, the space between is here with us right now. And like we are seeing around us like this trash compactor, like the dream image of this trash compactor.
Amazing.
What is Eerie doing in this moment?
I think there's a moment for most people who connect with the space between where you have that echoing inhale, exhale moment. As Bruno says these things to her, her eyes fall shut. And for a moment, everything is still. This might be the end. This might be, you could be looking at her and going, did it work? And then suddenly there's this immediate inhale, this breath that brings the space between back into her body, and down goes the water, and the space between runs in and replaces that drowning feeling. And her shoulders shift and her body moves, and then they sort of like finally come back to life and like start to sit up a little shakily before that strength fully comes back to every single one of their muscles. And they turn to you and they say, Bruno, you are strong with the space between. Now let's go take these people down.
And I'm gonna hand you a token to say like, I'm just a guy who fixes the pipes. You tell me what you need. And I am doing a lateral move that is asking how I can best help you right now and giving you a token if I act on your answer.
Great. Yeah. So I think, with those tokens in hand, I would like to maybe stop and like close my eyes and learn a secret that was not understood maybe, about what our enemy weapon is. So she is sort of listening through the space between to those scientists who are in that room, working on that weapon, and finding out exactly what will turn it off. What's that magic switch that Bruno is so used to?
Oh, and I love the idea that Bruno's in the room with you, and it
Yeah.
like points out like, oh, those gauges are running so hot. If the slightest bit more pressure gets put on them, those gaskets are gonna blow, and this whole thing is gonna turn into a steam room.
Exactly. They shift from the trash compactor to
Yep.
real life to the lab.
Yep.
They kind of use
Flying
those
through the cosmos.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then she opens her eyes and says, "We've got it."
Okay. And like closes his eyes, and we see that dial tick 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 and go red. Boom! Big steam things. Bruno grabs the comms. Hey, Flyboy.
Yeah.
Go be a hero.
And he kind of perks up and smiles, and just kind of pulls back, gets in a seat, locks in, pulls down some goggles, and he just flies in towards, and he starts shooting kind of pot shots at this big ship as he's kind of flying around it. Okay. What Bruno, where's the best spots to shoot? Like, help me, let me know.
I think if I could butt in at the moment, as I'm kind of like behind,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, we have comm, so we're going through, and I finally, the shield's down.
Yes.
Okay, Chike, this is going to be real scary. I need you to listen to me. Remember the asteroid?
Yes.
Your ship is going to need a little bit extra power. And I basically want to do a lateral move to add a functionality to something you fix and give the person to help. I want to over comms walk you through. You're going to open a panel right above you on that spy fighter. You're going to take the tool, use the 7th tool from the right, and you're going to overcharge the hell out of those guns.
Oh, sounds good.
And then I'm going to send you, you're going to hit the spot right here on the underbelly of the ship, which shows up on your computer. And now I'm giving my token to you so you could blow some shit up.
All right. So yeah, I go ahead and do all those things using the multi-tool that I'm borrowing, and just going around fixing the different parts of the ship, overcharging, charged up. So you're just watching this spy craft just kind of like do figure eights around this big triangle ship, taking pot shots all around it. And he's just kind of calming back in everyone. He's like, okay, it seems, is it looking like it's taking any hits? Is it slowing down?
If you land one last big shot on this thing, you are gonna like blow up this lab, blow up this weapon, and frankly, send this ship spiraling off into parts unknown. And I think like under his breath mutters like, and maybe not kill everybody in the process, which great. But in that moment, I want to throw this to the group. I want to introduce one more NPC. I want us to go through NPC creation specifically for the rival pilot that has rolled, that like blasts out of it for one big fuck off dogfight,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because we got like the lab's got 1 HP. Like if we hit this thing once, it's gone. But we gotta get through this ace pilot first. Who is this ace pilot?
I am like immediately thinking like a mandate prodigy. Like this person is the top of the top kind of guy, has trained their whole life.
Oh yeah.
I immediately float towards now that we're like, as we're looking at the trait list, I immediately float towards maybe either cynical or mercenary, or maybe even observant. Like what feels good for those options. Like what personality traits feel good for like the ace pilot that has trained for this. Like this is Chike's like perfect opposite of a person that has been raised as I'm coming to kill.
Oh yeah, like with the Chike opposite aspect, that makes me lean towards mercenary, if only to have it be someone Chike known growing up.
Oh
yes.
Yes.
And this is
you recognize
this is a person,
their symbol.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and just always, looked at him as like a peer, but he's always resented Chike because he is closer to someone who had to just make ends meet. And that's why as a mercenary, he just had to be a better pilot. And he always, it's like different perception. For me, we're just these two guys kind of like, trying to make it. To him, I'm the rich kid asshole who like has more money than him. And that, I don't think I come from a rich family, but it's the difference where like if you grow up, there's still like, lower middle class, and then there's like actually poor, and then you somehow get the lower middle class kid who's like, we're the same, and it's like, no, we're not. We're definitely not. And he and I think he's always, Chike has always been able to get the better of him until recently, and there was just like one last kind of race that they had and that he lost, and that was the last he's kind of seen of this person whose name is
I got Blaze, Blayze as a first name. What feels like a good last name to counter that?
Blaze McQueen.
Blaze McQueen. Great. Lock it in. Lock it the fuck in.
Yes.
Yeah, Blaze McQueen.
The other trait, because I'm looking at the mercenary like move list, and there's a move here that I think is so juicy, but I also am looking right next to it in the PDF that I'm looking at, and there's cocky and dramatic. So I'll say, Iffy, which one of those do you want Blaze to be? Is it cocky or is it dramatic?
I think it's dramatic because I feel like it's the opposite of his cockiness, where he's like, you lack humility.
I also just like the idea of a person who's very dramatic. Like they, like if Blaze is doing things to like get the spotlights on him,
I can imagine Blaze as like everything's going down and he knows, or they know Chike is coming. They're like getting ready in their locker room. They're meticulously putting on parts.
Oh, they've got such a tailored outfit for this occasion. And like they see Chike's ship and they're like, one last time.
It's time.
If this was a movie, this is the like cameo from like the biggest name actor.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I'm immediately invoking one of the moves on this list to be the center of attention. This ship has space flames because space flames.
Of course, yes.
And it's got like a rotating jet on the back just for added flair. Like it kind of like almost like a gyro thing on the back. Like and it just like comes bursting forth, and you just hear on the comms, "You didn't think we would end this dance without a duet, did you, my friend?"
Oh, wow. That can't be Blaze, because Blaze has disappeared off the face of the earth and forgot that we were friends.
Over the comms from Czar. Chike, you know this asshole?
Yeah, he's from my childhood. He only beat me once out of the 100 of times that I've beat him racing, and now you're working for the Mandate?
I am encouraging someone to pursue their own interests over other obligations and throwing you a token to say, like, mid-battle, right? Like laser fire strafes one of your wings, you spin, like, there's, like, we get the whole dance. Vince, paycheck's a paycheck. At the end of the day, the decision makers are going to make the decisions that they make. You just gotta roll with the punches. And with that, another round of laser fire comes in.
Oh man. I think at this moment, I kind of like nod my head, says, and back to Czar Oliver Comms making this vulnerable moves like, he's working for the Mandate. It looks like we've got company, because there is a vulnerable move that say, we've got company. So I will do that right now.
I love it so much.
All right,
yes.
Oh, all right. I'm going to come in and try to do something. And I'm going to say, we're going to need more guns for this, which I'm going to use that as my vulnerable move. Say, fixing this will take resources we don't have. Resources being guns.
Okay. What do we do then? I'm up here. He's got a nice, fancy Mandate ship, and we're just working with what we found.
So if let me propose this as a Star Wars fan. The thing about the Empire is that it makes things look very fancy in Star Wars, but they do it on a budget because they don't have as much money as they want the galaxy to think they do. That's why, things like, Fault in the Death Star happen, and people on the inside aren't necessarily on their side. So maybe there's something about your friend's ship that can be noticed, some kind of weakness.
What I will say, I feel like that comes from y'all. I think in this moment, I feel outclassed because I'm in my head deep in this rivalry. I don't have the wherewithal to actually know this, and I'm playing it cool, but me calling out his ship and my lack of ship is me kind of spiraling out and losing confidence.
I have an idea. Because I still have tokens to spend, and I just
Spend
think
'em.
this is funny.
Yeah.
So as Blaze's ship is like making a move on you, Chike, I think as it like swirls around, you see Lexicon kind of like hanging on to the outside. And I want to use one of my strong moves to reveal something that I stole. And I want to be like taking something out of this ship that it needs to fly. Just wrecking its shit up.
Really
Oh my god, you're on the ship just with your gun.
funny.
Well, you said you gave me a hand, right? So I think this hand is like reaching in and just like wrecking shit. Like,
Let's
I don't know how to fix
fucking
anything,
go.
but I'm pulling stuff out until something breaks.
I love a droid in space.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think as it's spinning and as I'm pulling things out, sparks are flying. Again, if this was like the video, I think with the Doppler effect, you hear Lexicon laughing, but it sounds like very ha 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 ha, like going by like that.
I want to offer. Zara's going to say over the comms, I guess I'm picking up Lexicon. Take care of your friend.
What's this cable
And-
do? Who knows?
And Lexicon, I'm going to fly my ship above you. And just go, Lexicon, get on the ship, please.
I hope this wasn't important. And I'll fuck off.
I think, and I think what is does there any other big moments that we want to see before we take out Blaze and take out the ship and have our big hurrah?
I wanted to have an Obi-Wan moment with Chike, maybe, because we had that bond ahead of time.
Love
and
that.
I wanted to use the space between to protect myself and others, where, once Chike sees the destruction maybe already happening on Blaze's ship, my voice kind of rings through his head, and I just say, focus. And maybe beyond that ongoing wreckage to Blaze's ship, Chike sees that one critical point of the larger ship, and it clicks, and it's like, that's what you've been going for.
Yeah.
So I think in that moment, I do snap out of it. I snap out of it, and then I am also going to spend a token because I do think this is a unfamiliar vehicle that I know ships, but I don't know this ship, and I'm burning the second one. So I'm do two strong moves. Not only am I going to maneuver an unfamiliar vehicle without trouble, I'm going to make a daring maneuver to gain an advantageous position. So I'm burning those two to finally, like, you in my head allows me to kind of take a step. I sit back and I look at my cockpit, and it all starts making sense to me what everything does. And I kind of notice, I'm no longer interested in taking out Blaze. He is out of the fight. He's probably going to be a problem in the future, but I'm not. That doesn't matter. But in that moment, Blaze is trying to take one last pot shot, and I hit a button, and because this is a spy ship, it just cloaks. And then you just see the energy as it darts towards this major mandate ship, and you just watch it. It's just kind of like you can't see it, but you can see the speed around the ship as it finds that weak point that was pointed out to him by Eerie, and he uncloaks and he pulls the trigger to shoot it and watches as the ship starts to spark and like fire, like, just Star Wars ship business, just pop, 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 pop.
That's so good. We watched that. I'm It doesn't matter because I don't think we're going to see him again in the episode, but like I do want to give Blaze a token to react in an over-the-top fashion as his escape pod flies away, and he's like, as I live and breathe, if I have one more blink in this galaxy, the last thing I will feel on my fingertips before I drift off to the space between will be your blood on my hands as I loom over your corpse. Mark my word!
And it's just like it's like a cut shot to like the vastness of space, and you just see it all the time.
And that's that
like
monologue
talk lines
drifting off as he floats away.
Yes.
Giving Team Rocket.
Very Team Rocket.
Eerie pops on the comm like, I think he likes you, Chike.
Oh, that's very interesting. He has a weird way of showing it, I guess.
We come back down. We get our kind of celebratory moments. Is there any like big moments that we want to see before we wrap? I have a moment that I would love to call between Bruno and Lexi, but I think that can wait.
I felt like when Chike lands after the ship kind of goes down slowly, and I'll say for Bruno's sake, you see like the escape pods kind of pop out as it kind of slowly makes its way and crashes and explodes. And Chike walks up to Bruno and extends his hand.
Nice flying, Flyboy.
Hey, and you're just the hero that saved the galaxy.
I'm a guy who fixes the pipes.
You're the hero that saved the galaxy.
He
just walks off.
I was gonna say pulls in for like a quick like one pat hug and then like lets him walk off, which is perfectly timed for this moment that I would love to call for Lexi. Of like sees that, like looks over Lexi as like kind of come down next to him and just kind of I think like mutters as Chike walks off. The thing that I've been thinking about this whole session is just like mutters, God, he really is just like his dad, isn't he?
I would say so. Yes.
Oh, that's terrifying.
His father was, well, quite the interesting person.
You don't gotta tell me. Man got in trouble like nobody's business. Let's hope this one can handle things a little better.
Better? I think Chike handles things just fine.
I think he's gonna be okay.
I think so too.
Zara has been walking into our hideout and is quickly just get everyone around the table, drinks on someone.
Hey, Lexi, do you happen to know Fern's bank code?
Perhaps. Why do you ask?
Maybe we could have some drinks on Fern.
Ha! 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 I understand.
I want to take the chance as we close to take the pillar that I have, which is scum and villainy, and use the scum and villainy to have this moment it seems to be in some like barracks. There's a knock on the door, and it is as the person who walks up to the door is Bruce Parley, and when it opens, it is Frederick Ngomi, and goes, "What did you tell my boy about me? And also, where's that lexicon?"
Yeah! 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 Yes! Good! Game!
Horn cut.
Oh, that was magnificent. Thank you all for playing. This was an incredible game. This was an incredible experience. I am so happy. And now before we wrap up, we'll do some outros. We'll say where we can find us, where we can find our work online, what you might know us for. My name is Jeff Stormer. I have been your facilitator today. I am a podcaster, game designer, published author as of a couple months ago, which is a weird thing to say. You can find my work at jeffstormer.com. Primarily, you know me for the podcast on which this episode is living on the feed, so go listen to any of the adjacent episodes of Party of One, which is an actual play podcast about getting to know interesting people through the shared experience of play and a love of two-player role-playing games. I sit down with a guest one-on-one. We tell a self-contained role-playing game in about 90 minutes or so. You can find that at partyofonepodcast.com, where you can check out more episodes on the feed at this very moment. And then, like I said, you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet as Jeff Stormer. And I will throw it over to Catrina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catrina, better known as Katrina across the internet. I am a podcast host, a performer, a writer, a producer, the marketing director at Hunters Entertainment, and the founder of Boldly Glow Beauty, where beauty/fandom is our OTP. You can find us at boldlyglowbeauty.com and find me on many different podcasts, including the my brain just shorted out. An Unwavering Force, a Star Wars TTRPG that I share with a cast member on this beautiful show. Thank you so much.
And let's throw it to Iffy.
Hello. Iffy Nwadiwe. Iffy Nwadiwe on all social medias. Watch, I'm actually on Dropout. We got some other fun stuff on the way.
And we'll throw it to Dusty.
Hi, Dusty. You can find me all over the interweb where I want you to find me at Dusty Hill. I am an AP producer, performer. I am the GM of An Unwavering Force, a Star Wars story. Not trademark, I hope. I'm also part of Goblets and Gays, Pathfinder 2e podcast, Bring Your Own Mech, which is a Lancer and mecha story, and a bunch of other things, Interrogation, it's like an interview style podcast. And I also design games that are silly, you fight fascists and are full of genre, stuff like Dracula Owes You Money, Trans Vampire Cowboys, Lesbian Werewolf Crime Fighters. If those evoke something, then I'm doing something right. Check those all out at FromDustToDice.itch.io and get some cool things and yell at me about space.
And we'll throw it to Jay.
Hi, my name is Nala or Jay. My pronouns are they, them. I'm everywhere on the internet at Nala Draws, primarily on Blue Sky, but also on TikTok and Instagram sometimes. I am an art director at Hunters Entertainment. I'm also working on a really cool project with Metal Weave Games called How to GM Romance. It is a comprehensive toolkit designed to enrich your tabletop gaming experiences with engaging romantic storylines. Our book includes how-to advice essays, scenarios, descriptions, and NPCs that you can easily slot into any game, as well as mechanical tools for dating, serenading other characters, intimacy, disputes, and a tracker for romance, much akin to those visual dating games, visual novel dating games. Visually, for the book, as the art director, I got to hire a bunch of really cool artists. And unlike other TTRPG books, the art is completely divorced from the text. And so I just got to hire a bunch of people to celebrate the diversity of love. And I cannot wait for people to see this. All of the art is incredible. And I can't recommend it enough. Besides art, I'm also an illustrator. You can see my work in games like Coyote and Crow and Uncaged Goddesses, Apocalypse Keys, among other things. What else do I do? Besides art, I am a voice actor, a sensitivity consultant, and an actual play performer. If you liked me in this show, you can also watch me on shows like Itaewon by Night, and that is, we have 2 seasons out of that. We are the first all-Asian cast to play VTM on stream. I was also in a Bluebeard's Bride one-shot called A Haunting Beloved, and it is our take on disability horror, and it is such a special game to me, and if you go check it out, let me know what you think. Thank you.
Incredible. Well, thank you all so much for playing. Thank you all for being a part of this, and everyone else, thank you for listening at home, and see you among the stars, everybody.
Woohoo!
Take it, future Jess.
Thanks, Fast Jeff, and thank you so much for listening to this episode. It was produced and co-sound designed by myself, Jess Levine. You can find me on Blue Sky as @jessfrom.online and @jumpgategames.itch.io. It uses music and sound effects from pond5.com, artists in the show notes, and it was co-produced, co-sound designed, and entirely edited by Seda, who you can find on Blue Sky as posetachips.gaygothvibes.online. Those last 2 of which also form the amazing URL of their website. Seda is also the host and editor of Folio, a multi-guest actual play podcast about solo and epistolary TTRPGs, in which they weave together multiple guests playing separate runs of solo TTRPGs into a single parallel narrative. I genuinely think Folio is doing some of the most interesting and innovative editing in actual play right now, and both Seda and the show are finalists for the Crit Awards 2025 Best Tech/Producer and Best Upcoming Podcast. Highly recommend you give Folio a listen and consider tossing it and Seda a vote in the Crit Awards. And speaking of other podcasts I love, there is a sister official actual play to the one you just heard. In it, Austin Walker, Super Dylan, Seda, Natalie Watson, and Kendrick Smith play Galactic's partner game Going Rogue on the One Shot podcast. The first episode is out now on One Shot, and the second goes up June 9th, a week from the release of this one. As I said up top, Galactic and Going Rogue is crowdfunding on Kickstarter from May 20th through to the end of June and can be found at bit.ly/galacticgoingrogue or the Kickstarter link in the show notes. And you, Party of One listener, can get an itch code to claim a free PDF copy of the most up-to-date released edition of the game you just heard, Galactic 2E. You can use this code yourself, or if you already have the game, give it to a friend. All you have to do is back Galactic and Going Rogue on Kickstarter at any tier, or have backed it already on Kickstarter, and send a message to the Jumpgate Games Kickstarter account that includes the code phrase, "We have parties everywhere." Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that relationships forged in struggle can turn allies into comrades and rallies into rebellions. And as always, party on, everybody.